Okay, for those who are starting to join us, thank you so much. We will be starting in the next 3 minutes, so get yourself settled in. Thank you to everyone who may be on the phone
Yes.
as well who's online. So we'll be hearing from our
Can you
presenter in a few minutes. And yes, I can hear you, Malika. You're coming
hear
in loud and
me?
clear. Yes, I can. All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again for our monthly series, Inspiring Ideas from Experts in the Field. I do hope that everyone has enjoyed the holiday weekend and is getting back to the swing of things and enjoying the warm weather, whether you're in the state of Massachusetts or if you're joining us from other parts of the country. Our webinar series is currently in our third year for NOFA Mass, and it is our hope that we can make quality farm and organic gardening management education easily accessible to everyone. My name is Anna Gilbert Muhammad, and I'm the Food Access and Webinar Coordinator for NOFA Massachusetts. My email is anna@nofamass.org. Feel free to contact me with feedback about this webinar or with any food access, food justice related questions or suggestions. Before we start tonight's episode, I would like to thank our sponsor, the Greenleaf Foundation, for supporting the production of this series. The Greenleaf Foundation makes small grants to nonprofits that promote organic farming, gardening, and community development in New England. So if you're a nonprofit in this realm, in this area, please reach out to them for funding and for assistance. They are a great organization. Also, many thanks to all the NOFA Mass staff and board who have helped to make this workshop possible for tonight and for the use of our new webinar portal that we are currently using for the series. If you're not a member of NOFA Mass, that's the Northeast Organic Farming Association, Massachusetts chapter, we really want you to consider joining to support us in our education and policy work and also our soil technical assistance work. You can visit our website to learn more, or you can contact me for more information. We have a wonderful presentation tonight. Our presenter is Malika Gilpin from One Art Community Center, all the way from West Philadelphia, in Philadelphia, PA. Tonight's format will be a presentation with intermittent questions in between. So please have those questions ready as the information that Malika will give to us. You definitely want to be able to interact and get questions answered. And we have some people joining us from groups that are similar to One Art Community Center. You get a chance to find out how they came into being, how they make it work in West Philly. And the best way to get your questions to me, on your dashboard, there is an area where you can click on for questions. You can type your questions there. I will see it and I'll get that to Malika. Or you can text me directly at 413 214 1237. Again, 413 214 1237. And so, without any further delay, we really want to get to this wonderful presentation. We are so grateful to Malika for taking time out of a very busy schedule in the Philadelphia area, because she's also not only part of One Art Community Center, but she's also the events and conference coordinator for NESOG, the Northeast Sustainable Agriculture Working Group. So she has a lot on her plate, but she manages well. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead, get the presentation over to Malika. Malika, are you on and ready to go? Malika? Malika, are you ready for us? Malika, the call is yours now. Okay, folks, just give us a few seconds. I think she's logging in now as we speak.
Great.
All right, Malika, you ready to go?
Tonight, this time with you.
Malika, you're fading out a little bit.
If anyone can hear.
Malika, you're breaking up just a little bit. If you can speak directly into your headset.
Hello?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now. Just speak directly into your headset.
Yeah. I don't.
Everyone, just bear with us. As you know, technology is not always our friend, so we are working out some technical glitches here. And Malika, if you have your headset close to your mouth, and if you could, you may have to move into another part of where you are so that we can hear you.
I see my screen.
I can see your
Yeah,
screen. Yes, I can.
I'm speaking right. No, that's uh, pretty bad.
Malika, we still can't hear you. I think I'm going to have you log out and log back in. Okay, everyone, please bear with us. I'm going to reach out to Malika directly via phone to see if we can resolve her technical difficulties. Just give us a few minutes.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay. Malika, I could tell you're trying to talk, but you're going in
Oh,
and out.
yeah, I can
You can hear
hear
me. Yeah, we cannot hear you.
you now.
Okay, if you stay put, if you could stay right in that area, we could hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you for short periods, then you go right back out. Is there another headset you can use, or maybe an earplug, or talk directly into the computer?
Hello?
Can you talk directly into the
Hello?
computer? Yes. Can you hear me? Malika, why don't we try
I
connecting you via phone? There's a way that you can do it via phone. On your audio, switch to phone.
can't
You can't dial in.
hear. Oh,
Right, Malika, just dial in. Dial in using your phone, and I think that will work.
okay. You can.
You can go on the dashboard and switch to a phone call. Okay, everyone, for those who are online with us, we do apologize for this brief delay. We're just trying to get her logged in. We're going to have her try to call. We're just going to try and get her to call in real quick.
Now, can you
Malika?
hear me now? Yes.
Yes. Okay, very good.
Okay,
All
good.
right. Good, good, good. All right, you can bring your
Great.
screen. Oh, that's even better. Okay, very good. And you can just bring your screen up and we can continue right along.
Okay, great. Can everyone, I'm not sure, can you see the screen?
No, let me try giving you back the okay, there we are.
All
All right.
right.
That's my screen. Is your presentation up?
I just put yes, I said I gave permission to show my screen.
Okay.
You're still not seeing it?
No, I'm not. Can I see the white screen? Okay, you have control, so you should we should see your screen. Make sure your screen is open all the way. I'm going to close mine back. There it is.
Okay.
You're all set.
There's, okay.
Thank you to
Okay.
everyone. Thank you to everyone for your patience with us.
Yes, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. We're in the middle of a storm, and my internet loves to be fickle like the weather. So, so thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for hanging in there. And I am really grateful, Mr. Muhammad, for opening up this opportunity to share with everyone about One Art Community Center. It's a really special place, and I have been a part of One Art for quite some time. And so in this presentation, I'm going to share a lot of the intersections of community and art and gardening and how we use that here at One Art as a way of healing. And so One Art was founded in 2001 by my late husband, Benjamin Reed. And when he first found One Art, it was just this big pile of garbage. So this is a picture of about a year after he found the space. But he really had a vision for creating community space where all different communities could come together in a safe, warm, nurturing environment and really grow together. So he wanted to see economic growth as well as just really creating safe space for people to come together. So the property is located in an area. Here I share that it's the heart of the empowerment zone. So in Philadelphia, the empowerment zones are areas that need a lot of love, and they're high crime rate areas. They are low income and basically marginalized communities. And so the space is located right in the middle of one of those neighborhoods. And so this is just a little glimpse. Again, this is about a year into the cleanup, but there were just mountains of garbage. And he started the project without any funding and continued the project without any funding. And so it took over 5 years just to clean up all of the trash. So, and this was, it was used as a dumping ground, which is what happens in a lot of these areas that, there was just people dumped until they couldn't dump anymore. And, but now this is a little glimpse of what is in that same dump. So One Art has transformed throughout the years and has really become just a place of love and community and growth. So we are able to grow together with our community in ways that have been really special. Here you can see our mission. So basically, we're providing inspirational space, inspirational programming, uplifting positive values, education, culture, community engagement. And at the root of all of it, we are seeing this beautiful holistic healing happening. And it happens through all these different streams. So it always looks different. Environmental sustainability is one of our legs, and collaborative community partnerships, and of course that collective growth and unity is always being promoted. And our vision, very basic, but we just, again, we see a lot of the healing happening through inspiring people and creating space where we can inspire each other. And we used, in our beginning years, we used the arts as our mode of transportation to get this healing to people. And we loved doing it through the arts. We still love doing it through the arts because the arts are not limited. So we have performing arts, and you can see here, this is after school. This is an after school group during their final presentation. So we work with local schools. We have a lot of music happening. You can see here a drum jump. Actually, that wasn't even a class. That was just like, we have these impromptu jams that always seem to spring up. And we also have performances, and our programming is 100% positive. So we open our space to different groups to utilize it, and as long as it's positive programming, they are invited. And we love that because it doesn't limit how people express themselves or a certain genre or a certain community that we're trying to reach. It really opens up the floor to all different types of musicians. So we've had musicians from the neighborhood as well as international musicians, and it's exciting to see that they're able to share the stage and just share in a healing space. We have healing arts, so we have different programming that focuses on that. A lot of our events, we have massage therapy, and one of my favorite, he is pictured here. So they're yoga workshops and African martial arts classes, and most of our programming is geared towards people of color, and we found that it makes a big difference in how our people connect with the craft or with the art form. And so, and then also down here in the right-hand corner, you can see this was just an impromptu dance, a beautiful, just expression that happened at the end of one of our events, and people just didn't want to go home, and then somebody busted out a drum, and everyone started dancing, and it was just incredible. But I put this picture in here because it just brings me so much joy, and it also reminds me of this beautiful feeling that happens often here at One Art. We have literary arts. So these are all different programs that utilize the space at different times. So One Art has not been funded by any outside source. And so one of the things that was interesting is that it, in a certain way, it was limiting, but we used that limitation to expand who we are and expand our foundation. And so when you function as an organization and you're not getting grants or outside funding, you really lean on your community partners, and this relationship develops that is really powerful. And so we have a lot of community partners, and a beautiful relationship with them, and it's growing. And so throughout the years, we've been able to grow together, share programming, and really just do what we do. Here's some of the martial arts and demos, applied art. So a lot of the art forms are, wearable art, or down here at the bottom of the screen is a bamboo wall that my husband built with bamboo that's growing. So on the left bottom part of the screen, you can see the bamboo growing, and then the right bottom, you see it as a wall. And so this is our multi-purpose space, which is all of the walls are bamboo. And community activism, of course. So our youth programs really have been a healing for everyone involved, including the adults. And I don't know how many of you get a chance to work with the youth, but they are incredible, and they're such a driving force. And so we, any kind of youth programming, we like to get them into the garden. We like to have a lot of conversations or reasonings, and we like to use art to really be active and show our activism and represent out there. So this is a program that we don't currently have, but it's our high school intern program, where it was entrepreneurial based, and we would each year we would bring in visiting artists who had various skills, and they would teach the youth, and then the youth had an opportunity to create their own business. So this year, what's pictured here, the youth had developed their own screen printing company, the People's Printing Press. So we had visiting artists teaching how to use the press, and then the students made a website and all the promotional materials, and they won awards from the city, and they made money too. So it was great. So here are just a few pictures of some of the events, and here's one of my favorite murals, and some of the organizations and partners that we have. Here are some of our students that graduated. They had been with us for a couple years, and this was their graduation, and some other lovely youth. And so we shifted our focus a couple years ago, probably about 6 years ago, and really were a big part of the shift was that we are surrounded by a lot of vacant land. So we were like, you know what, we're just taking over this land, and we're going to start growing food. And then then after we grow some food, then we'll ask for permission to do this. And it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful process. We started off, and we would have these planting and planning potlucks, and people would bring seeds, and we would plant food together, and we would talk about what we were growing and share recipes, and it was just a wonderful bonding experience. And so the One Art Oasis Farm was born out of these gatherings, and also when we started targeting this vacant land that is attached to the art center space. So we here's a little picture of our original greenhouse. And so we started growing. We got we got the soil tested and made it into a whole day project. And one of the sisters who teaches at a university nearby, she came out and did the soil testing with us. And then a couple months later, she's like, the soil results were really strange. And I was like, oh no, she's going to tell me about all the bad stuff in the soil. But she said, this land is it's really fertile, and you don't have the toxins in the land like most of these vacant lots do. And so then we started digging and like, what's going on? What we know this land is special, but what happened here? And found out that years ago there used to be a chicken farm there. So there used to be hundreds of chickens, and so now the soil is just super fertile and absolutely beautiful. And we have this is a picture of our chickens. We actually ended up battling with the city over the chickens, which was funny because it brought some notoriety to One Art. So we had gotten about $2,000 in fines for having chickens. And so we, instead of paying them, we went and shared with the judge that, all of the wonderful things that chickens bring. And they ended up dropping all of the fines and fees. And so by the end of the night, before the night was through, we had done like a couple interviews with newspapers, and one of the major news stations came out to broadcast about backyard chickens, and the news anchor held the chicken through, during part of the interview, and it was just beautiful. And so now we are really, really close. We have over 1,300 backyard chicken owners in Philadelphia that are actually claiming it. And we are very, very close to legalization of chickens. So we're really excited about that. Here's a picture of my husband, and he is putting our bees in. And a lot of the projects here, again, without funding, you just like get really creative. And so this was our first year of having bees. Was like we didn't have any equipment. You can see that he's got like minimal equipment on. So a lot of our bee sessions ended up with us, one of us running across the field like, oh my goodness, I got stung. But a lot, we just grow with what we're doing. Here we have a happy neighbor. We have an orchard, and we have 10 different types of fruit trees growing in our orchard. And so here's a picture of the peaches, and we've got plums and figs and apples and jujubes and persimmons. And so this was like, I included this because this is kind of the beginning of our, not really, actually it's not the beginning of our expansion, but it was the beginning of us expanding outside of the property that we actually own. So we did this through visioning together as a community. What do we want to see in the One Art Oasis? Let's dream big. We had sticky notes, and for a period of time, people were able to, whatever classes happened, workshops, events, people were able to add to this big map that we had up, and they could add their ideas. And so we had everything from, stick figure chickens to, thesis papers about what should be in the oasis. And then we put those ideas together using permaculture design and kind of cut and pasted all these pictures. And these were all of the ideas, and we really wanted to have a visual so that when we were trying to actually transfer the properties, we could show what our plan was. So this is what we came up with as a community, and we presented it to the city, and they loved it, and they said, yes, do it. And so we did. We continued to do it because we had kind of like we had already started, but that worked to our advantage because we were able to say, hey, this is what we have so far. So they're like, oh, beautiful, it already looks better. Okay, keep growing. So this became somewhat of a vision board for us and for people that were visiting. So, you know, people said, oh, how do you want me to help? And we were like, okay, well, these are some of the projects that we're trying to do. And we were able to like propel forward with a lot of the projects fairly quickly. And so within a short period of time, less than a year, I was able to go back to the city and I said, hey, remember, this project that we had for the Oasis? Well, we had these 25 different projects, and we already have 16 of them accomplished, and 4 of them are in the beginning phases. And so we just wanted to thank you and give you updates. And I was able to show pictures of, this is a cut and paste chicken coop, but I was able to show a picture of our chicken coop. And so I thanked them and then asked if we could have all the additional properties that are surrounding these are just pictures of some of the things that were built. And so on this map in the green, that's our original property. And then in the yellow, that was what we expanded the Oasis to. So when I went back to the city, I said, can you give us all of this in red, all these red lots? And so we can continue to expand and continue to, just be that bridge to health and wellness. Right now, this is a picture of the first tiny house that we built. And it was built out of 95% recycled materials. Those are bricks made out of bottles, and that bamboo in the bottom right hand is bamboo from that we grow. And we hope to have our farm to table cafe open this coming year. We're really excited to all of the food that we grow, we give away to our community, and we're excited to actually start preparing food with it and sharing that in that way. We're also building a recording studio that's going to be off the grid, so using solar panels. And we have a small aquaponic setup, but we're also excited to expand and have a whole lot that's aquaponics, a whole lot that is our tiny houses. Patch Adams Clinic wants to partner with us and have a holistic clinic on site, and we're hoping to have a children's garden. I've been talking so much, and I hope that you have lots of questions for me. I want to just share our website, which is One Art Community Center, and our Instagram, which is at One Art Community Center, and our Facebook, which is One Art Community Center as well, if you want to get in touch outside of this presentation. Anna, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, actually, I do have a few questions that came in. And again, for those who are on, if you're on the phone, you can text me at 413-214-1237. Or if you're online, you can use the question feature in your dashboard to type in a question, or you can still text it to me. But we do have a few that came in. And I got to say, Malika, this is wonderful work that you have done to be able to merge art, music, growing sustainably. So it's wonderful work. But one of the questions that came in is on land access. Now,
Yeah,
you mentioned just kind of taking over some plots when you had to, but one
yeah.
question that came in, is there any ordinances that the city provides or any opportunities that you were able to take advantage of to be able to either purchase land or to get land and pay a one-time payment in lieu of taxes?
Okay, that's a great question. And we're actually walking through the murkiness of that. We've been walking through it for years. So, so we've been trying to obtain these properties since 2001, all these additional lots that we didn't own. But there was never a clear path to that. And so, you'd go to one office and then they would send you to another, but there really wasn't a clear path to land access. Um, and so I think it's about 5 years ago, Philadelphia started a land bank. And so we were excited about that, and we still are in certain ways. And we're definitely holding them accountable for everything that they've promised the land bank would be. So this particular land bank was modeled after Detroit's land bank, and with an emphasis on the land being utilized for green spaces and low income housing. And so there have been a few transfers through the land bank. So our project in particular is a little bit different, only because we're trying to get so many properties at once. So we just had two more transferred to us. So this is a long process because it's not looked at as one big piece of property. Each property is an individual property, and all of the pieces that I requested, I did research on them. They were significantly delinquent in taxes and like 15 years or more. And so then I submitted them to the land bank. So as we wait for most of the properties to be transferred, the land bank is providing kind of a safe space to hold the land until we get it. We also just got two more properties transferred that are for their year-to-year lease. So those are really easy, and you don't have to pay anything for that, and you get it year to year. Also, if you live next door to a plot, it's fairly simple to get a next door plot. So, in certain senses it's easy, and others it's just a long process.
Okay, very good. Another viewer sent in a question concerning um, handicap accessibility, how that's taken care of, hardscapes for handicap accessibilities. How do you work that into the farm site?
Oh, that's a great question. So it was really interesting. We have one of the only handicap accessible performance art space outdoors. And so several years ago, the handicap community just started really frequenting our space for different events, and it was just beautiful. I mean, and every time they would come back with, bringing a friend. And so one of the members actually said, you know what, you guys are like really close to being like completely handicap accessible. So let me come back and go through the space with you, and you guys can, I'll just give you some pointers. And so he spent 2 hours with us just going through, like, put a little ramp here, put this over here, and that was a great guiding for us, and we were able to, one by one, kind of fix the areas and make them more accessible.
Okay, very good. Wow. Another question comes in concerning chickens and how you were dealing with the chicken situation. Are there any ordinances in Philadelphia for livestock? How is that handled?
So there is, you can have it if it's for educational purposes, which I could have played that card, but I didn't. I didn't want to play that card because most people in Philadelphia don't have them for educational purposes. They just, they're pets. They eat the eggs. And so I didn't use that. And I think what happened is it's like this archaic law, because there used to be a lot of cockfighting in Philadelphia. So instead of outlawing cockfighting, they just like outlawed chickens altogether. But as we're in the fight to get them legalized, I think most of our representatives, our council people, are really seeing the absurdity of having them being outlawed completely.
Okay. Another question comes in concerning how you work with the youth. And it sounds like the youth are really integrated throughout all your programming. How do you get them into your programs? How do you do the outreach for that?
So right now we're focusing on schools. And so the schools will just bring students out. It's a lot of local schools, or a school that can walk a few blocks and they're here. And this looks different. So we've had groups that just come out just for the day, and we'll work in the garden. We'll pick some food. We'll make a big salad together. We'll share. We also have groups that come out regularly. So they'll have planted, a part of the garden, and then they'll come back and check on it and use it as a long-term learning tool. And so it looks different all the time. Again, without funding, we have to be really fluid in how we move, and what can be supported with what we have at the time. So my goal is to have like everyday programming with the youth, but right now it works really well with our groups coming out as school groups and sharing time with us.
Okay. In reference to funding, you mentioned that you're doing all of this wonderful work without the traditional funding of grants and so forth. What are your funding sources, if you have them, and what community partners are you linked with?
So we don't have a regular funding source. We have events, and that balances it out for us. And we are a nonprofit, and so I am excited to kind of be exploring that nonprofit world. Well, I'm excited and also a little intimidated, but now I'm starting to do some grant writing and actually partnering with some organizations to learn how to do that better. And I do hope to, we are a 501c3, so I am hoping to start getting some more traditional funding.
Okay. And in terms of your partners, are you working with schools or you're working with other organizations similar to yours to bring in the art aspect and the gardening aspect?
Yeah, so that's one of the interesting pieces is that we're really not limited. We work with schools. We have other community groups that are like sharing co-work space here. So one of the groups, Urban Tree Connection, that's been in Philadelphia for over 20 years, they have an office space here. So we've been able to share, funding ideas, and they're pretty well established with that. We have some of the local schools, the universities have created like internship programs to feed some of their students into our space, and that's been really helpful. So so we're hoping to definitely expand on that and keep growing it.
Okay. And your supervision of the youth that come in, do you ever run into issues with quarries, having to run a quarry or having to run any kind of records just to for folks that work with the volunteers and particularly with the students that come in?
Well, because we're focused on right now. Well, when we were doing our own youth program, everybody did like the background checks and stuff like that. But now, since we've shifted to this the school model, because they come with their teachers, it works out fine. So we don't have to do a lot of that, and our on-site people are already certified, and so we haven't really had an issue with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And one of our final questions is concerning your soil and how you worked with some of your soil issues from soil testing to tilling the soil fertility. What are some of the methods that you use to keep the soil to continue to be fertile and to continue to produce?
So we have a beautiful compost where we have a juice bar a couple blocks away. So we get like a lot of wonderful composting materials. We don't till, and we rotate our crops. We also use the chicken manure. We use that, and we are doing we're doing aquaponics. So that's interesting, and so in that area of the greenhouse, we often use that aquaponic water, the water that the fish live in. We water with that water. So yes, everything's looking just beautiful and fertile.
Good, good. Well, as we begin to wrap up again, I really want to thank you for your time with us today. You have shared such a wonderful project in West Philly. It's really just looking at the transformation, bringing light, life, and power to the area. And in these last few minutes, did you have any closing remarks?
I do. So one, I don't, can you still see my screen?
Yes, I see the one art with
Okay.
your contact info.
Yes. So I also wanted to share a short little pitch for the Northeast Sustainable Agriculture Working Group, which Anna shared earlier. I help manage the conference. And right now we are looking for session proposals at our conference. So if you have anything, NESOG is really wonderful at just looking at the food system through a racial equity lens. If you have anything that would fit into that, submit your session, and we'd love to have you come and share with us. And just to thank you again, Anna. Thank you so much for providing this space to share and for having this great program.
Well, thank you so much, Malika. The work that you're doing is totally awesome. And just like with NESOG, such a wonderful organization as well that brings all the groups together that are working towards equity in the food system. I just want to applaud you for your work. And also, too, you will be seeing more of that at the Northeast Organic Farming Association conference that will take place in August, August 10th and 11th at Hampshire College. We will have some tracks devoted directly to food justice, to urban farming. And so if you would like more information, you can go directly to our website at nofamass.org to get yourself registered. Also, don't forget the NESAR conference is coming up, and I believe it's November 7th, 8th, and 9th. We're going to Jersey City. So check that out as well. You get a chance to meet Malika and see, I don't know if you're presenting, but you'll see other groups like hers that are doing this wonderful work up and down the East Coast. Again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for your patience tonight. This webinar will be uploaded within a few days. If you are interested in receiving the link for your own personal library, feel free to reach out to me once again at anna@nofamass.org, and I'll get you your own personal link to this, but it will be on our YouTube page and in our archive page. Thank you again, Malika. Thank you to everyone. Please enjoy this wonderful week. Get out and grow, grow, grow. And I look forward to hearing and seeing everyone next month for inspiring ideas from experts in the field. Good night. Have a great evening.